What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to an all-new episode of All Hail the King. This is going to be episode number 26, and we'll be featuring team-ups of Star-Lord that don't involve the other Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this series, this is the corresponding video episode that goes along with a podcast segment that you can find on thehelicarrier.com. Also, make sure to check out the From the Helicarrier podcast live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. As always, I will place a link to the corresponding podcast segment in the link below. That's right, you can find it in the description. So what are you waiting on? Make sure you go and check it out. Now for our first team up, we're using Star-Lord along with the Protector, Hercules. Star-Lord can be somewhat squishy, so I like to protect him from damage. Hercules is a fantastic protector because not only does he take the damage, he'll dish it out with some big counterattacks. Unfortunately, he was stunned, and now it looks like my entire team is going to be stunned. So far, the Horseman of Death is going off on our team. Honestly, I really couldn't have much worse of a start. Look at him, he's just bombarding us. Finally, we get our first turn, and we're going to use Gift of Battle as a quick action. That's due to our Augmented ISO 8, and you can find it in Season 2, Chapter 5, Mission 6. Then we did get a stun proc from our column down, and we gained Strengthened. Star-Lord's Spray and Pray will add to our Finest Hour buffs, and he gives himself an extra turn with 12% of a plan. This time I'll use a single target attack, a trick shot, and it does quite a bit of damage to the enemy beast. Oh, and nice, he's also stunned and has to skip his turn. This could be a pretty epic comeback. We're going to use Neuro Purge. That's a quick action. Then we have a second turn because of momentary advantage. So with that, we'll try to knock out the enemy beast. That way we can use the Light Fantastic and clear all our debuffs. It looks like that idea is going to work out perfectly. So let's go ahead and clear our debuffs. And that is a quick action, meaning we get yet another attack. And I'm going to use it on Iceman. Now that's a pretty quick turnaround. We just needed our team to be allowed to act. We have Blessing of Olympus, so this is going to be a guaranteed crit, and this Pancration Pummel is going to end the match. By the way, I'm sure I don't say that right, so go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Next up, I wanted to go with another Protector that also can benefit from Finest Hour or Rising Up buffs. It's been a long time since I brought out Omega Sentinel, so I figured let's go ahead and use her. The team we're facing is one that I was definitely worried about. It's a pretty impressive Psylocke and Quicksilver team-up. Living through that opening barrage of attacks is definitely one step towards victory, albeit a tiny one. The first seal will not only help us keep our rising up buffs, it also removes the enemy's buffs. Then we're going to try to make the enemy attacks non-stealthy. Because of the Scroll of Aknazak, the enemy Psylocke has to use mental coordination and sort of wastes her turn. Then switching to Bruiser Protocol, we're going to use Defense Array, and that's our Protect effect, and then we're also going to use Nano Heal Array. Next, the enemy agent does do a pretty terrible thing for us. He uses the Mystic, which does place obsolete tech on Omega Sentinel. And the enemy Quicksilver's also going to join in with the tag team, followed by Psylocke. Luckily, Omega Sentinel in her Bruiser Protocol is pretty resilient. Still, I think our team needs some more buffs, so let's use a Spray and Pray, and now it's going to be the enemy Quicksilver's turn to act. So he does focus on Star-Lord with the Blinding Punches, followed by a tag team. We do get a trick shot counterattack, but he dodges. Of course, Psylocke joins in once again. Then there's going to be a Vortex Lariat, and that does hit our entire team, but it doesn't get any stuns, and we get a trick shot. This time it hits. Now I know at this point the enemy certainly has quite a lead on us, but I do think we can come back. It's going to start with our agent casting momentary advantage, and then we're going to use a quick action Light Fantastic. Mirror Reality is definitely very key against any team, but Blast from the Past can still hurt us, potentially even knocking one of our teammates out before they get healed. Next I'm going to use the Blackest Void, that way we can wipe their buffs, and also disorient the enemies. At the very least, we can cause Psylocke to waste her next turn by using another mental coordination, and we also may get Quicksilver to hit his own teammates with the Blinding Punches. Then as our final act, we're going to use the second Seal of Aknazak, and that's going to place Broken Will on all the enemies. All of this was done to weaken our opponent's attack, because at this point our team's kind of in survival mode. Right away the Blackest Void pays off because Psylocke hits her own Quicksilver. Next, with Omega Sentinel, I'm finally going to take advantage of that Infiltrator. Now I should have done this an entirely different way, but unfortunately I use a Plasma Torch first, and then the plan after that was to Plasma Blast Psylocke. Either way it all works out, and we kind of get to see a good proc from Star-Lord. We unfortunately do cause Tag Team to take off our Mirror Reality, but there's that 12% of a plan. This allows me to go ahead and one-shot Psylocke, and then now we can use our Plasma Blade on Quicksilver, plus we get a follow-up because of that Infiltrator. Once again we turn another battle around and it looks like we're going to win. The enemy agent wastes his turn by using the Blackest Void, and we have satellite support so it won't even affect us. On Star-Lord's turn we're going to use a Trick Shot, and then we'll finish it off with an attack from our agent. Well, I suppose we should use our quick action first, so we'll go with an Improbability Field, followed by the Hand of Apocalypse. As long as this connects, it's going to easily take out the enemy agent. Alright, so here goes nothing. A hand attack for 61k non-crit. Now moving on to our third team up, I'm going to use our Opportunist connection, Star-Lord and Wasp. Not only that though, these guys are going to counterattack like crazy. Now you may think that a Quicksilver team could potentially give us problems, but I will admit it's not a scrapper. Still, I think this team could have a chance, but the Rafshank may be needed. One good thing is we will place off balance on all the enemies right now with a Skirmish Scramble. The enemy Psylocke's going to use a Kinetic Shield, and that's it for her turn. So let's go with another AoE attack, this time it's a Spray and Pray. By the way, my agent is using a Protect weapon, we're using the Blade of the Guardian, also the Mercurial for another counterattack. And speaking of counters, check all these out. You know Wasp is going to join in, and then we also get a Trick Shot. Also, thanks to Star-Lord, we already have Blessing of Heroes, and now any attack will be a critical hit. Plus, of course, we do get a regen effect. So let's use a short fuse, and then I'm going to use the Blade of the Guardian on the enemy agent. Or on second thought, we could use the Ex-Oblivion and place Opportunist debuffs on all the enemies. The only reason I'm considering this is because the enemy agent isn't next to act. In fact, he's currently at the end of the line. Now the enemy Quicksilver does use a Vortex Lariat, but it's going to trigger a number of counterattacks starting with a Buzzkill. So there's 2 from Wasp. Next it's going to be Star-Lord's turn, and he has 2 counters as well, a Trick Shot and Spray and Pray. After this my agent also is going to join in, and he hits Quicksilver for a huge counter. A 70,000 damage hit. At this point, we might as well take out the enemy agent with a Fist Bump. Believe it or not, this attack can do quite a bit of damage, and Wasp proves it right here. After one last enemy attack, we see another counter. In fact, it's going to be 2 because we get a Blade of the Guardian and a Buzzkill. Okay, on my agent's turn, I'm actually going to play it very safe and use the Light Fantastic, so the enemy Psylocke may in fact live another round, but she will definitely die after that. A Disrupting Shot takes her very close to death, but she does live, only to have her attack dodged and to be killed by a Trick Shot counter. And that victory brings us to our very final team up. It's going to be Star-Lord and Anti-Venom. We're facing a pretty impressive Pestilence Beast and Deadpool team, so let's see if this team up can handle them. We'll start with an I Am the Cure, and place Exhausted on all the enemies. It just hit me, I Am the Cure and I Am Groot may go very well together. Well, at least as far as a potential funny team up. Oh, and check out our Star-Lord right away, we get 2 counterattacks and a 12% of a plan proc. Now this is why he's one of my favorite infiltrators in the game. After all that, we might as well go with another Trick Shot and we'll take it out on the enemy agent. This can do quite a bit of damage and it has a chance to stun. Then with our second attack, let's go ahead and mix things up, and I'll use a Quantum Leap. This attack is going to place Fumbling, Hobbled, and Winded. Not to mention it's going to take the enemy agent very close to death. He's only at 12,900 HP. That's a lot more manageable than 90,000. Now with my agent's next turn I'm going to soften up the enemies with a Neuro Purge, and then I plan on using the No Mercy on the agent. If this connects, it should be an epic overkill, and more importantly, the enemy agent won't even get a turn. Now that works out perfectly for our team. With all these debuffs and Anti-Venom next to act, we can unleash a huge crusade. So let's go ahead after the enemy Deadpool. It does manage 96k, but Deadpool does come back to life. This time around, Beast does land that hit on Star-Lord, so we won't be counterattacking. Oh, and after that big lag spike, our Anti-Venom is in Deadpool's face, at least for the foreseeable future. Well, on Star-Lord's turn, let's go ahead and use a Quantum Leap, and that way we can place Hobbled on the enemy Beast. Not that it matters here, but you can make the enemy's attacks non-stealthy. Next, the enemy Deadpool is going to attack our agent with sharp pointy things. Then against my better judgment, I'm going to use the No Mercy on the enemy Beast. But watch, Deadpool is going to protect, I just knew it. Okay, so we didn't finish him, but at least maybe Anti-Venom will. In order to do that, we're going to have to use another Crusade. So here goes nothing. A 39k hit, but he lives through that as well. Deadpool is being insanely annoying. Oh, and if you're wondering why we counterattacked, it's because of fumbling, and then we also get a 12% of a plan. So right at the end, Star-Lord once again makes his presence known, and shows you why he's an amazing character. This is going to allow me to basically finish the battle because we take out Deadpool, and Beast has under 9k HP. Beware of falling rocks. That has Fatal Blow, and no matter what, that ends the match. That also brings us to the end of this video, and I do want to thank you all for watching. I'd also like to ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, good luck, and take care.